Pakistan's contentious elections are over.
The problem is that the scale of rigging is unprecedented.
We'll take the matter to the courts and not rest till we find some judicial resolution.
With questions over the government's mandate.
If the law and order situation doesn't improve, then all of us will suffer.
How will Pakistan meet its imminent economic and security challenges?
The headline inflation is taking a big toll on the poor people of Pakistan.
Terror groups have been attacking the Chinese nationals. They have been attacking foreign nationals.
And what will become of its most popular and controversial politician, former Prime Minister Imran Khan?
In the attempt to disenfranchise PTI and Imran Khan, they accidentally made him the most popular politician in Pakistan.
Abdullah Imran from Rawalpindi in Pakistan is not a happy man.
I was enraged. I could not believe that such a wide margin could be manipulated and make us lose the next day.
The 26-year-old engineer believes that he was robbed of his vote. His preferred candidate from PTI, or the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf Party, did not win his electoral seat, though early results had him leading.
Basically, I was at the election office where all the results were being treated like heroes because we were winning by a very healthy margin. The next day when we woke up at around 10-11 a.m., we saw on the news channels that we were losing by a margin of 12,000 votes. So we couldn't believe our eyes.
On February 8th, Pakistan held its long-awaited general elections. It was seen as a face-off between the incumbent, helmed by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif of the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz Party, or PMLN, and the PTI, led by former Prime Minister Imran Khan.
Well, the mood in Pakistan in the lead up to the elections was pretty much defined by uncertainty over when the elections would take place, if the elections would take place, but also how these elections would take place and how they would be allowed to play out. And there were a lot of concerns about the way the military would intervene in the political arena.
The political climate in Pakistan had been tumultuous since Imran Khan was ousted as Prime Minister in a vote of no confidence.
The resolution for vote of no confidence against Mr. Imran Khan, the Prime Minister of Islamic Republic of Pakistan, has been passed by a majority of the total membership of the National Assembly.
Despite his removal from office, Khan remained the country's most popular politician. As he openly defied the government, several occurrences would raise the political temperature in the country. In November 2022, Khan was shot in an alleged assassination plot. He blamed the government and military for the attempt on his life. Then, on May 9, 2023, Khan was arrested from the High Court on corruption charges. His followers took to the streets in angry protests, unleashing destruction in cities like Islamabad, Lahore, Peshawar, and others. Using the May 9th violence as justification, the authorities clamped down on PTI, arresting its leaders and supporters in the aftermath. Imran Khan was subsequently released on bail, but re-arrested. He remained behind bars, heading into the election.
There was every attempt to make it hard for the PTI to contest elections. Its main leadership was arrested and had been in prison for months before the election. Even the mid-tier and the grassroots leadership had been picked up. So the party was clearly thought to be in disarray.
Then came another blow for PTI. The Election Commission of Pakistan barred the use of PTI's electoral symbol, the cricket bat. The icon is a throwback to Imran Khan's days of glory as Pakistan's cricket captain.
What a beautiful delivery that from Imran Khan.
In a country where the literacy rate is around 60%, such symbols are crucial for party recognition.
According to them, our intra-party election was not conducted properly. Therefore, they relied on a provision in the Election Act of 2017 to deny us the symbol. And there is a rule that the Election Commission has, which says that if you are denied a symbol, then members of the party who contest elections will be treated as independent candidates.
The bat symbol was very important because that has Imran Khan's imprimatur on it. So people were left guessing as to who was the PTI candidate.
PTI candidates ran as independents using different electoral symbols. With all these obstacles, it was expected that the party would not perform well at the February polls. But the PTI were far from defeated. Hamad Khan is a PTI supporter who volunteered as an observer in one of the polling stations.
The support from the people that came toward PTI was massive. It was a historic turnout that we were expecting, and the way people were talking to us, they were contacting us, they were telling us to stand with the Imran Khan ideology.
Now that sort of thing made people angry. They said, we will now vote for the man who is being persecuted. So in the attempt to disenfranchise PTI and Imran Khan, they accidentally made him the most popular politician in Pakistan.
Early results showed PTI-linked independents in the lead. But this optimism soon faded.
In Pakistan, the term often used is the management of elections, not necessarily rigging elections, but the management of elections is not new in Pakistan. This is a phenomenon that we've noticed many times in Pakistani elections.
As official results were announced, widespread accusations of vote rigging began to fly. At the heart of these claims are two pieces of paper, Forms 45 and Forms 47.
Now, the Form 45 is simply the result compiled by the presiding officer of a polling station at the end of the poll. It gives the votes received by every candidate at that polling station. So when you put together all polling stations in a constituency, you aggregate the number and you issue what is called the Form 47.
Salman Akram Raja is a PTI-affiliated candidate who ran in Lahore. He says the results of his seat were changed, denying him victory.
Fictitious Forms 47 were created, which had nothing to do with the underlying vote that had been cast.
So in my case, there's a lead of nearly 100,000 that emerged at the end of the polling through the Forms 45. So what they've done is, during the night, they created Forms 47, which is the aggregate result from all the polling stations, and this result is pure fiction. So they've given numbers to whoever they wanted to, whatever numbers they wanted to give.
Votes had been cast. There are dozens of examples.
The problem is that the scale of rigging is unprecedented. In the past, we saw that the rigging method is different. They stamp the ballot papers and then they stuff the ballot boxes, and then in the counting they create problem and they get the result of their own liking. But this time directly changed the result on Form 47.
In some areas where they did rig the elections, the results were clearly PTI won, but the official results that came, our opponents had won.
Citing security concerns, Pakistan's internet was shut down on polling day. Nonetheless, PTI supporters would mobilize and mount protests in the following days, accusing the military and the incumbent government of electoral fraud.
वो हम अपने कायद की अपील पर यहाँ आए कि पूरे पाकिस्तान में हमने एहतजाज करना है. एक तो होती है चोरी, एक होता है डाका, और एक होता है डाकों से भी बड़ा कोई चीज होती है. वो हुआ है हमारे साथ, पाकिस्तानी कौम के साथ.
Adding fuel to the fire, an election official would publicly admit to falsifying results a week later.
मैंने जो इस मुल्क के पेट में छुरा घुंपा है, मुझे वो सोने नहीं देता.
कमिश्नर साहब ये बताइए,
बात करने दो, जो मैंने जुल्म किया है, मुझे उसकी सजा मिलनी चाहिए, और बाकी भी इस जुल्म में जो लोग शामिल हैं, पुलिस भी शामिल है,
उनके नाम.
Elsewhere, winning candidates refused to accept their victory. Among them, the leader of the Jamaat-e-Islami Pakistan Party, Hafiz Naeem.
अगर हम जो क्लेम करते हैं उसके खिलाफ ही आकर खड़े हो जाते और अपने ज़मीर को मार देते, तो फिर हमें तो इन सारी पार्टियों में चले जाना चाहिए ना जो ये सारे धंधे करती हैं. फिर हम जमात इस्लामी में क्यों हैं? हम हक पे खड़े हुए हैं, सच पे खड़े हुए हैं, चाहे उसकी इज्जत खुद मेरे ऊपर क्यों ना पड़े.
On the other hand, other politicians would show proof of election legitimacy. Bilawa Bhutto, the leader of the Pakistan People's Party, denounced rigging accusations as false, publishing copies of his Form 45s and 47s on social media. Supporters say claims of vote rigging are dirty tactics by the PTI, done to undermine the results.
Unfortunately, when Imran Khan was in politics, especially youth was used very, very badly. I don't have any words for his fascist behavior, and unfortunately they are labeling and even doing anything to malign their opponents, and even they feel proud because their leader have evil intentions and have always evil intentions and have always an aggression to malign their opponents.
PTI just want to agitate, and they don't want that there should be development in Pakistan. You see, the stability is very much required, and now I think the election was very fair. Comparatively, I don't say in all elections there had been doubts, so if they have some proofs with them, they should come forward.
When the dust settled, of the 266 seats up for grabs, PTI-backed independents would win 93. The Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz would get 75, while the Pakistan People's Party would pick up 54. Minor parties would pick up the rest. The PMLN would return to power, this time in a coalition government with the PPP and other minor parties. However, the PMLN and the PPP did not always see eye to eye.
Well, my enemy's enemy is my friend. So they both stood in these elections primarily against PTI. That's what they were challenging against. But this is not a natural alliance.
It will function, but it will function as a coalition government which is very weak. It is not clear that it certainly cannot take strong decisions. How to deal with the IMF, for example, how to make decisions on India.
But the story of the election is far from over. Over 200 candidates, mostly of PTI, have filed cases with the Election Commission and courts to overturn the electoral results on the grounds of vote rigging.
This time round, there are open challenges in court to an extent where we've not seen before. How the court rules on these particular individual cases would have an impact in the numbers that play out in Parliament.
But why did the PTI, together with its jailed leader Imran Khan, remain so popular with voters? The answer may lie in Pakistan's economic doldrums. With less than half of Pakistanis having formal education, Hamad Munir Sham should be well placed to succeed. Instead, things have not gone his way.
I have done my Masters in Social Sciences from Quaid-e-Azam University, Islamabad. Then I did MA in English Literature from University of Sargodha. It's been a decade. I tried my best to secure a job in public sector, but due to the prevailing circumstances, I could not secure a job because due to the lack of meritocracy, political uncertainty.
With no job, Hamad resorted to selling his ancestral farmlands for income. But that is no longer sustainable.
But now I think I could not survive in future on my land because I have to strive and I have to secure a suitable career to survive. I will have to rely on loan from my acquaintances because if there is no job, then for the survival I need some money. Reason is uncertainty, unrest, instability, economic decline and lack of interpersonal harmony, interprovincial harmony, ethnic biases, sectarian biases. There is insecurity everywhere.
For the last 2 years, Pakistan has teetered on the edge of the economic cliff. The World Bank pegged real GDP growth for the fiscal year 2023 at negative 0.6%.
Last year, GDP growth was in negative terms. This year, it might be just about 1 or 2%. That's mainly because last year's base was so low. The headline inflation is near 29%, 28%, while the core inflation, which is the non-fuel and non-food inflation, it has stabilized at 21%. Both these figures are historically very, very high for Pakistan, taking a big toll on the poor people of Pakistan, on the middle classes and the poor people. Unemployment is on the rise. There are figures that the government has put out. The unemployment rate is now 8.5%. This has gone up from about 4.5% 2 years ago. So this is a massive increase.
Last February, the government sounded the alarm when its foreign reserves dwindled to just $3 billion. The country was staring at bankruptcy.
We know that the foreign reserves are at all-time lows. We also know that they are escalating electricity prices, fuel prices, etc., and this is hitting the people really badly.
A few days ago, I paid my gas bill. I was shocked. It was around 12,000. We are 3 family members. The gas consumption is very much low, but I got shocked to see my gas bill. So the tariffs are increasing, taxes are increasing. It's beyond our reach to pay these utility bills.
Under such difficult conditions, the investment climate was frigid. For businessman Saqib Ata-ul-Noor, this was a death knell for his plans to bring electric vehicles to the country.
We thought what could be the best in Pakistan. And then we realized that EVs, electrical vehicles, is the go-to thing and that's going to be the future. So that's why we have started to investing into the electric buses. So first MOU was signed with the government of Pakistan in 2021. I have managed to bring in the foreigners, particularly from the UK and German bus manufacturer, to invest in Pakistan, and they have promised in their MOUs and then several letters with the government of Pakistan that they're going to invest over $2 billion into this industry. Particularly after the 9th May incidents, most of our investors, they just see the unrest. because there is a clear unrest, there is a clear frustration, and there is a clear instability. And that was one of the major reasons they pulled back from Pakistan.
According to the State Bank of Pakistan, foreign investment has fallen in the last 3 years to just over $500 million in the fiscal year 2023. Total investment hovers around 14 to 15% of GDP, meaning Pakistan has one of the lowest investment rates in the world.
Since the time when there was a vote of no confidence against the PTI government, Pakistan has been going through political upheaval.
The Pakistan international bonds were also in free fall like our currency was. So there was no stability, nobody knows what's going to happen in the morning. So when they wake up, the prices will go up. So they said that it's not conducive market for us to invest anymore, and we are happy to pull ourselves back.
With the economy in dire straits, the country was in a sour mood heading into the February polls.
The increase in the youth which are entering the labour force is phenomenal, and they are predominantly unemployed. That, by the way, goes to explain one reason why the youth have voted so heavily for Imran Khan's party, during which time the economy was growing at 6% compared to 0 last year over here under the last government.
Voters would also point fingers at Pakistan's extremely powerful military establishment.
What we saw during Imran Khan's tenure as Prime Minister was an open acceptance that the military and the government were working together. And this in Pakistan is often described as the hybrid regime. Now what this did was it placed the military in a position where it was seen to be culpable for the failings of the government. The military was equally implicated in the economic problems.
I don't think that the people of Pakistan voted for Imran Khan. They actually voted against the establishment, which is interfering in politics since decades. And in some areas, I know the people who don't like Imran Khan, but they voted for his candidate because they thought that if his candidate will win this election, it will be the defeat of PMLN and Pakistan People's Party.
Nonetheless, the PMLN and the PPP succeeded in forming a coalition government. Shehbaz Sharif was sworn in as Prime Minister once more, getting a second bite of the economic cherry. And the coalition government believes it can turn things around.
You see, the stability is very much required. Our government has intention to have more and more growth, which I feel that there is a potential if we could give confidence to private sector and to foreign countries for the direct foreign investment. The agriculture also. So my message is that with coordination and cooperation, we are ready to accommodate all these young generation people and their supporters. The law and order situation doesn't improve, then all of us will suffer.
To implement economic reforms requires a strong mandate, but questions are already being asked of the coalition's strength. Cracks were showing between the two major parties. The Pakistani Muslim League Nawaz, founded by the current Prime Minister's brother Nawaz Sharif, and the Pakistan People's Party, led by Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, son of former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto.
The PPP has been very clear that they don't want to accept ministerial positions. Now this may seem counterintuitive at one level, but it's actually a very strategic play. What we find is the PPP is willing to support Nawaz Sharif's party to take up government. However, it doesn't want to be blamed for any of the hard decisions or failings of the government in the next few years.
It is very clear that the coalition that has been put together, and that too between the People's Party and PMLN, who have never been on good terms and who were in fact treating each other as opponents during the election process, it's clear that that coalition is not going to last. It's going to hold for a while, but it'll be weak, it'll be unstable, it'll not be able to make the kind of major decisions.
And there is another organization keenly concerned with the strength of the government's mandate: the International Monetary Fund. The IMF had provided Pakistan a lifeline since its bankruptcy scare a year ago, agreeing to a $3 billion loan package last July. The new government wants to ask for more.
Already IMF have indicated they want to support Pakistan because whatever happened in the last program, we fulfilled all conditionalities of IMF. And we feel there should be enhanced amount of $6 billion next program. And they are confident, even IMF, if we will fulfill all their conditionalities, because this is the only option available to boost our economy.
The IMF give the money out after they do what I would call an economic audit of the policies and the conditions. And when they give the green light, then other creditors, whether it is multilateral institutions or bilateral or the international capital markets, they have greater confidence in the economic policies of Pakistan.
Now, the loan package from IMF will be contingent on certain structural issues, changes being made in Pakistan. This would include no subsidies for fuel prices, but also expanding the tax base in Pakistan as well. These will be unpopular decisions. And if your own coalition member is not willing to take up a position in the governing, in the cabinet, then you're hard pressed already. So it will be a very difficult job for Shehbaz Sharif to sell these ideas.
As for Saqib, he hopes things will be better once the election dust settles.
A lot of investors, even from Singapore, from Malaysia, from Dubai, from China, they have promised us that soon after election, if there is a stability, we will come and invest in Pakistan with you guys. So I truly believe whenever there is a stability with the current policies, when it comes to enforce, we will only go one direction, that will be go upward.
Pakistan also wants to turn to its trading partners for funds. But will mounting security challenges kill any investment appetite? On February 7th, one day before Pakistan's general election, 2 explosions rocked the offices of electoral candidates in the southwestern province of Balochistan. 26 were killed and dozens more injured. These follow months of escalating violence in Balochistan.
This is not new to Balochistan. It's a region that has seen opposition and militancy since Pakistan got its independence, essentially. However, what we found in the last decade or so is a resurgence of this insurgency, partly fueled by the fact that Balochistan has felt that it has been neglected by the central government. And this has fueled more angst.
Although Balochistan is Pakistan's largest province by landmass, it is severely underdeveloped. About 71% of its population is multi-dimensionally poor, meaning they lack food, water, electricity, education and wealth.
If you look at the case of Balochistan, if there is no development taking place, the region is going to be further alienated. How this is going to play out is the question. Will this play out within the political terrain, or will this play out with regards to greater support for militancy?
Historically, much of the militancy in the province is perpetrated by separatist groups, such as the Baloch Liberation Army. The Pakistani government considers the BLA a terror organization. Yet, Baloch nationalism has some resonance among the young. Hasid Baloch is a member of the Baloch Students' Organization, the largest ethnic organization of Baloch students.
I think this whole alienation which Baloch youth feels towards the state and the whole democratic process, it's because of the Riyasati state's policies towards Baloch. which alienates them at the end of the day.
We have found that both the government and the establishment, primarily the military, have carried out a number of campaigns, military campaigns to root out militancy in Balochistan. And this has further fueled the sense of alienation in Balochistan. There are claims that thousands of people have been detained or in Balochistan, they say disappeared over the past few years.
The military has been accused of abducting dissenters, known in Pakistan as forced disappearances. Victims often vanish, not given a chance to stand trial in court. Hasib believes his family was targeted by the authorities in this way.
My family, my uncle, on 15th of April in 2015, on his way to Karachi from Habchoki, he was extrajudicially abducted by the law enforcement agencies, and from this day we are unaware of his whereabouts and in which situation he is either alive or dead. You are in a situation of in complete uncertainty and insecurity. You don't know what happened to you in the next coming moment.
Yet, at the recent elections, the Balochistan nationalist parties fared poorly. Instead, the PPP and the PMLN emerged as the big winners. They clinched 11 and 10 seats respectively, out of 51 available seats in the Balochistan Assembly. This has led to an outcry of vote rigging, raising concerns of further unrest in this fraught region.
There is a serious question of legitimacy, because the scale of rigging in Balochistan is very large. Some nationalist parties from Balochistan, they will create a lot of problem, they will create a lot of trouble. Only Supreme Court of Pakistan can settle this issue. Otherwise, the issue of rigging will create a lot of political instability in coming days in Pakistan.
The issue in Balochistan plays out to broader issues of transnational security issues, because Balochistan borders Iran and borders Afghanistan as well. So we know that there is a movement between militant groups across these borders.
On January 16, Iran launched air and missile strikes in Balochistan, supposedly targeting the Baloch militants. Pakistan returned missile fire 2 days later, also claiming to attack militants in Iran.
Well, unfortunately for us, the Baloch terror groups have found a relocation base, not just in Afghanistan but also in Iran's ungoverned areas. And these groups have been attacking the Chinese nationals. They have been attacking foreign nationals. They have been attacking military convoys. They have been attacking Pakistani soldiers.
We know that China has set up a substantial presence in Balochistan. We also know that companies from Canada, for instance, are also setting up enterprises to basically deal with, to mine critical minerals. This is something else that could be a destabilizing factor in Balochistan as well. We have noticed over the past months and year attacks on foreigners within Balochistan itself.
Beijing has invested heavily in Pakistan. It has poured over $60 billion into the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPAC, an infrastructural project connecting Pakistan to China. The CPAC is a major component of the Belt and Road Initiative.
China's interest in Pakistan is multidimensional, to say the least. On one hand, they have an interest in Pakistan's economic development in itself. China has also invested heavily in the Balochistan province, and not just in terms of mining infrastructure, but also in terms of port infrastructure as well with Gwadar. Another factor is the fact that Pakistan has for a very long time balanced its relations with the US and China. So it's in China's interest to keep Pakistan in its camp as well, not allowing it to stray too far.
But terror attacks and militancy has been a thorn in the side of the China-Pakistan relations. In 2018, militants attacked the Chinese consulate in Karachi. Then, last August, a convoy of Chinese workers in Balochistan was attacked by the BLA.
中方强烈谴责这一恐怖主义行径，已要求巴方严惩凶手，采取措施确保中国公民人身安全。
Other powers are also keeping an eye on the development in Pakistan's borders, in particular, the US and India.
The United States, we must remember, has only marginal interests left in Pakistan now. Their interest is largely to keep Pakistan from exploding, because a Pakistan that explodes is one that lets nuclear weapons loose.
India has made no secret about its main concern from Pakistan, and that in India's terms is that Pakistan supports terrorist activities in India. And India has made that a number one priority in re-establishing relations with Pakistan.
With what is seen as a weak mandate, the coalition government will have a difficult task in quelling the disquiet in the peripheries of the country. Yet, it will be a crucial step in reassuring Pakistan's partners and to inviting much-needed investments.
Yes, it is difficult. We understand that things should be improved. Challenges are there in this situation. In the borders, we have not very cordial relation with the neighboring countries, and I think things will be improved with this government, because that is the only options available with the internal coordination and with the abroad, that is international coordination. Only then Pakistan can have more.
But for some living in Balochistan, like Hasim, the disputed election does not leave him with much optimism.
The behavior of this state, which at the end of the day alienate us from the whole the democratic process and constitutional process. The basic link between the state and the citizen is the constitution. If the state don't have respect for this relationship, this constitutional divine relationship between the state and the citizens of the state, at the end of the day it will emerge in alienated behaviors at political level, at social level.
With Pakistan remaining deeply polarized, how will the country move forward with the election over? Even as many candidates contest the election results in court, protesters continue to rally in the streets of Pakistan, weeks after the polls have closed.
It's not just the candidates who've been robbed, it's the people who've been robbed. And if the people want to come out and protest, then there's no power on earth that can stop them.
PTI-backed candidates initially picked up 93 seats, but that number has come down after some candidates jumped ship or had their results overturned through recounts. However, PTI claims they should have won at least 180 seats.
We'll take the matter to the courts and not rest, till we find some judicial resolution, even if it's against us. We are going to go through with the whole process.
The question is, if the verdicts go against the party, how will PTI supporters react? Especially after 6 High Court judges reported intimidation and coercion by the executive branch and intelligence agencies.
What we expect is that if the rulings do not play out in favor of the PTI-backed candidates, we can anticipate anger escalating. However, there is an awareness among PTI members that the events of May 9th cannot be repeated. One is that it shocked certain sections of society, but the other thing is the military has been able to use that very efficiently to say that, look, these are anti-Pakistani people.
So there's no call whatsoever for any kind of violent action. And I don't expect any violent action. I expect people to come out and register their protest peacefully in a constitutional manner.
The election has left the country deeply divided. For retired Colonel Rana Athar, Imran Khan has to shoulder some blame for Pakistan's polarization.
He himself is arrogant. His language is not polite. He is very harsh in conveying his views. He is vindictive. The youth is considering him as a demigod. They are copying him. In youngsters, because they do not have much of thinking capability, they are so much focused on Imran Khan. The youth has become part of his cult. The social media, the excessive use of social media being done by Imran Khan has capitulated the complete mind of all the younger generation of our country.
According to a Gallup exit poll, younger voters favored the PTI. 38% of voters aged 18 to 24 voted for Imran Khan's party, compared to 22% for PMLN and 15% for PPP. Comparatively, only 20% of those above 50 went for PTI, compared to 30 and 13% for PMLN and PPP.
We are waiting for his orders, the way he would lead us. We are listening to his orders, whatever he tells us. He has fought this battle for last 2 years, and whatever he continues ahead, we have faith as a nation in him.
I support Imran Khan also because he believes that we only live once. It's our choice to go out like heroes, or we can accept the current status quo and just go along with it. And I'd rather prefer to go out bravely, and we're prepared to sacrifice everything for this cause.
I don't think it's a case of younger versus older generation. I think the victory that Imran Khan won, his emergence as Pakistan's most popular politician, owes to the fact that he is seen as going against the army establishment. I think this is a matter of hope that the army, which was considered as above all criticism, is now seen as a source of Pakistan's problems, and this is an important step towards democracy.
The result of February 8th election is not the endorsement of Imran Khan. It is actually the rejection and defeat of the military establishment.
The armed forces have always been the power brokers in Pakistan, at times taking the reins themselves through military coups. As resentment for the military grows, what role will the generals play moving forward?
It's very unfortunate that in our country the political parties are formed, brought up, and then launched in the nurseries of the military. The army itself has become part and parcel of our political system, and we call it as an establishment. When a country having such a huge defense budget and such a huge military armed forces on our list, that has to play its own role. So I don't think so that we will be in future we can minimize their role.
The military general Asim Munir had actually stated that the military would play a role in trying to solve the economic problems of Pakistan. Now that's a major statement. I suspect the role of the military in the next few years would probably be contingent on how far the current coalition can sustain itself. And the question is what happens after that.
And finally, what of the PTI? Its charismatic leader, Imran Khan, was handed a 14-year sentence for graft and 10 years for selling state secrets. He still has over 100 charges hanging over his head.
I firmly believe that in Pakistan there are no natural allies and no permanent enemies. Shahbaz Sharif's party itself, his brother Nawaz Sharif, was thrown out of power by General Musharraf, and now they have been come back to power by the current military establishment. So the PTI has every chance of being resuscitated.
And it is very likely that the army establishment will reassess Imran Khan. After all, his fight is only with certain generals, and he does have support within the army establishment, maybe in a matter of months, maybe in a matter of years. The exact time we don't know, but his coming back to politics is now certain.
For now, at least, the very challenging job of pulling the fractured country together rests with the coalition government, though it is starting its term on shaky ground.
We need support from all establishments, from judiciary, from army, from bureaucrats. Otherwise, our country is not developing the way we feel that the standard of living of our people should be improved. There is potential. Once we are in a position to convince internationally that Pakistan is the best place, there are good results in it.
No, when you can't create stability on the basis of a falsehood. So what happened in this election and the wholesale assault on the election has really sowed distrust in society. You cannot have a fractured contract, social contract between the people and the state and expect economic growth based on stability. That's not going to happen.
Things start moving right, the growth potential is tremendous. The same youth that has voted for change now, you must remember that they have voted for change in a very big way. They are the future of Pakistan. If they want to change and if the people want to change, then I think they can be a major force towards an improvement in the future, inshallah.